Salvete discipuli in ludo Latino longinquo, or Latin distance learning, or the far-off Latin school, if you want to translate it a little bit differently. Hodie habeo vobis duo vocabula parva, sed utilissima, very useful. Multum et Paulum. Now, these two words we've seen a little bit before, especially multum. We've seen as an adjective, multus, multa, multum, meaning a lot. Paulum est contrarium, the opposite, a little bit or a little. And today I want to talk about a slightly different way that we can use these words other than just as adjectives. So adjective is the way that we've seen multum used before. Exempli gratia. Julius multam pecuniam habet. He's got a lot of money. Notice multam pecuniam, changing its ending there to agree with the noun it's describing, pecuniam. We can also use these, though, a little bit more like nouns, actually, than adjectives. And when we use them as nouns, we're going to use second declension neuter endings on them. And pretty much we'll always see them either with or o at the end. So in the nominative or accusative, and then in the ablative. So let me give an example of how that works. And actually, it's pretty close to how we say these things in English. Notice what we say in English. Julius has a lot of money. And we're going to say the same thing in Latin. Julius multum pecuniae habet. Notice pecuniae casu genitivo, of money. Multum casu accusativo. That's what he has. He has multum, a lot, of money. Same construction in Latin that we use in English here with this word multum. Now, we can also use it in casu ablativo, and often when we use it here, we're going to be using it with one of these adjective forms that ends with ior, meaning more so. So sextus est probior quam Marcus. He's more well-behaved than Marcus. Maybe he's not just better behaved, but he's much better behaved. Often we'll say that in English. And here, we'll use the casus ablativus of multum. So multo, he's better behaved than him by a lot. Notice we say by in English, just like Latine, we use the casus ablativus. So sextus est multo probior quam Marcus. He's much better behaved. Paulum, we can use in all the same ways. Except that it's got the opposite meaning a little bit. One easy way to remember the meaning of Paulum is the Apostle Paul. Remember, his name was Saulus, Saul, and then after his conversion experience on the road to Damascus, he takes the name Paul, Paulus, which is Latin for little. Paul was a Roman citizen. He probably would have been aware of this. And in fact, in 1 Corinthians, Paul refers to himself as the least or the smallest. He says minimus in Latin, the smallest of the apostles. A bit of a play there on his name. So Paulum sounds like Paulus, Paul. I think the least of the apostles, the smallest of the apostles. All right, so we can use it in the same way. So first off, just like we had multum pecuniae, a lot of money, we can have a little of money, a little bit of money. Medos, non Julius, sed medos Paulum pecuniae habet. Paulum pecuniae, non multum, sed Paulum. And again, notice we use the casus accusativus there because medos habet Paulum. He has a little bit, pecuniae, of money. Again, we can also use it in the same kind of construction with these ior adjectiva. Quintus est Paulo probior quam Marcus. Quintus est probior quam Marcus. Sed non multo probior, solum Paulo probior. Again, they're using the casus ablativus, indicating by how much he's better behaved than Marcus. One last way, slightly different, but related to this use here, is we can use both of these words, Paulo and multo, in casu ablativo, with the words post and ante, which in addition to being praepositiones, prepositions, they can also be used as adverbia. So post can mean afterwards, and ante can mean beforehand. And if we want to say that something happened a long time before, we can say multo ante, a long time before by a lot. And similarly, we could say Paulo ante, a little bit before. Or we could say here, in this example, Paulo post, a little bit later, a little bit after, tempestas oretur. So very useful little words, multum, paulum. Mostly you're going to see them either with the ending or o. Again, and which one you have to use depends on how we're using it. And so generally, when we're using one of these ior adjectives, we're going to see paulo or molto. Again, post or ante, we'll see paulo or molto. But if we're dealing with something that there's a lot of or there's a little bit of, usually we're going to be seeing multum or paulum because those things will either be the subject. We could say multum aquae est in fluvio, or we could often see it as a direct object. Here, like Julius, multum pecuniae habet. Gratias Scipuli, Walete, hope to hear from you soon. And check Jupiter grades for the exercises based on this. I've also got a really exciting, somewhat creative project in the works for you guys. You should be hearing from me about that in the next day or two. Walete.